G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. This is probably going to be a relatively quick one. I've got a couple of last ditch attempts before I go on holiday, and I'm probably going to put this out while I'm away. Timelines are all going to get confusing. I want to get the floats back to what they should be. I did try raising them to get more fuel through, but no joy, and actually it's starting to leak on one of them, so I want to get that back to normal. I want to swap the coils over so that I have on the left hand coil 1 and 4 and on the right hand coil 2 and 3, which is how I had it to start with, but I was cranking it with what I'm now convinced is a battery that wasn't strong enough to do it, i.e. that little lithium. Don't know yet, but what I'm going to do is cable up the original one on jump leads from the car, possibly the missus' car if I can't be asked to move it, and then try it on that way. I now have some proper quick start as opposed to using brake cleaner before as well, so let's get this squared away first. I won't bother filming because I've kind of done it before. Right, so that's the carb float set back to 17.5-ish. Actually they weren't that far out, but a little bit of tinkering. I've whipped the coils off because I wanted to show, look, that's the difference between them. Now I find that weird. Now I've looked up the TL MP08 and it's come back as XS650, where you end up with one coil bigger than the other, and that one is definitely the one that I've got. Now this could be tricky to do. Looking up the numbers on the one that looks right, looks like 750, but they are in a pair. So XJ650, I'm assuming they use the same. The principal difference is, and you can see it there, the pair have got 2 plugs on them. So plugs. This one doesn't. It has blades. What it does have on the bike is like I call it a conversion piece. So block on that side onto blades at that end, and that was on the right hand side. Now looking at the bike itself, I've got a going on to the right hand one, which is 2 and 4 according to the book. I've got a grey and a red with a white stripe, and the one going on to the other one, going on to what should be according to book 1 and 4, I've got orange and red. Now I'm just going to have a dig through the book and see if they're the right way round, see if so I haven't unplugged that, but there is a question at some point whether or not it has been swapped across and just cross-threaded, if you like, or cross-wired. I'm going to see if I can dig that out of the book. Right, so back in the book, 25 is the spark plugs and the ignition coils. So 25 spark plugs, ignition coils, 26. Let me zoom you in manually. Now all I've got there is orange, red and white, and grey, red and white, and it doesn't actually say, you know, 1, 2, 3 and 4, which is frustrating. What I do have though, bearing in mind this was on the left hand side, let's take that across, and it has shorter cables, although yeah, that's so variable, it doesn't really matter. What it does have though is an orange and a red. Now that was plugged into there, which is the grey and the red. The orange and the red is what I've had plugged in over on the right hand side through the extension cable. So what I'm going to do is move that extension onto there, plug that in to there, I think, and then see what happens. And then what I might try doing is plug that into there and run the shorter cables. So hang on, no, that is the shorter cables, isn't it? So that could probably do with going to 2 and 3. So plug that into there and put it on this side, running 2 and 3. Put the other on the other side, running 1 and 4, because it's got the longer cables. I'm pissing around in the dark here, but that might have been the key issue, that I had them completely inverted. Ah, fuck it. Right, there's one way to find out, and that's to try, isn't it? Right, so we're set up. Car bomb. Cold start in my hand. Coils. Left hand coil doing 1 and 4, which is probably the XS one. Right hand coil doing 2 and 3, which I think is the proper one. The question is whether or not they are plugged into the correct sockets on the loom, so I could be totally out. I've got the original battery on. Let's go choke attached. Fuel's been on for a little while. It backfires, which I wasn't getting before. Let's just try. Banging on the filters quick. That starter is trying harder again, which is good. Right, turns out I'd mixed sparks then. That's all new ones now, and I've dropped a bit of fuel on one of them, a couple of them. That's it burning off there. Right, that's my car hooked up. Really want to run the engine yet. Right, bit of fuel down each spout. Get this car started, give it some move. Right, let's get to the fucking chase, shall we? I know what the problem is, and I noticed it. I've got a little bit of an oil leak. You can see the oil coming around the edge, and I think it's actually coming from higher. Which made me think it's not sealing properly, or it's not sealed properly. Yeah. So I took the exhaust off, so I wanted to see how much back pressure it was getting to the exhaust, to the silencers off. I stuck my hand down there and thought, that's puffing, that's not guffing. Now that's the same on 2. Let me just, for shits and giggles, I'll do a 3rd. I won't bother with a 4th, because if it's on 3, that's pretty much confirmed. It's just as well I'm about to go on holiday, otherwise this would be on fire going down the road. And I know what it is. It's the head gasket. If you remember, it was for the YVS whatever version it is, so I needed to trim it, which I did, because I didn't think it affected any of the inner sides, and one of you guys said that's not a good idea, and you were completely fucking right. I thought I'd risk it for a biscuit. I risked it and it didn't work. So I think I don't have an adequate seal over the top of the pistons. I don't actually think it's the piston rings, because I wouldn't be getting the same across all pistons, I don't think. I'll just do that hand tight. I'm only proving a point to myself, really. Can you see what I see? So throttle wide open. I'm getting fuck all across the lot, which either means all the pistons rings are gone or it's the seal, and I'm pretty sure it's the seal. Oh fuck. Oh well, lesson learned, I suppose. Well, wrong. Lesson identified. Whether I learn from it is a different factor. Yeah, well, I've got a week's break from this fucking thing, which is probably just as well. I say this fucking thing, it's not its fault, it's mine. But that is why I give all of my bikes male names. I don't feel quite so misogynistic swearing at them. When realistically, I'm swearing at myself, let's face it. Well, I know what the problem is. I'm sure the coils had something to do with it, but fundamentally with that sort of pressure, you're not going to get fucking anywhere, are you? It's just not going to build enough to spark, which then explains why I've gone through, you know, a can and a bit of quick start, easy start, and it's not played at all. I'll plug the coil back in, and I will make sure I write down what goes to what, because I fucked around loads doing that today. But that explains everything. It doesn't have compression, which therefore means I need to take cap off, head off, get to the pistons, get to that main gasket, which is between those two, and then crack on. I mean, if I put all this shit away, and this might be my problem, I've been trying to protect it, which has obscured my view, and I've missed some obvious stuff. And the obvious stuff that I missed was an oil leak, which actually looks like it's coming from the bottom gasket, not from the top one. But one way or another, I'm getting fuck all pressure there. And actually, it's not surprising when you consider how much I cranked it that it might be doing that. I'm not that concerned about that aspect of it, but I am going to have to get down to the head gasket. Bollocks. Oh well, at least it'll have a week to order a week to arrive once I've ordered it. Right, that'll do me. Another damp squib. But I think I know what it is now. Well, wrong. I know what the problem is. Whether that's piston rings or the gasket. I think I may just order both and see how we get on from there. Could it be the valves? I don't know. Give me some suggestions, people. I have fuck all pressure there. Absolutely none. I don't know if that's rings. I don't know if that's the main gasket. But I'm losing a lot of pressure. A lot. Give me some hints, people. Cheers all. Catch you later. Ta-da.